What's going on, y'all? Congratulations, you have made it to level 30 of the Level With You show. My name is Wiley Olmstead, and this week I am joined by Tyler Hadley,
Hey, everybody.
Anthony Dewart,
Hey, I'm not sick anymore.
and sitting in an unusual spot, but still present, is Kenny Castro.
What up, what up, what up?
All right, if you didn't know, this is a weekly video game podcast where we all get together and talk about, you guessed it, video games. You can find the videos every Wednesday on YouTube and every Wednesday on podcast services as well. You can check them out on Podcast Addict, Spotify, iTunes. We're everywhere. If you'd rather hear us than watch us. We've also got some good Let's Play content you can check out on the channel, as well as some excellent card opening videos and all of that.
I ran out of money, so I'm probably going to take a little break from those for a bit.
And then you were just 5 minutes ago, 30% off Black Friday GameStop opening.
Exactly. It's all about the plan.
Yeah.
But you got the 30% off trading card games this weekend for Black Friday. Can't believe it's almost already Thanksgiving.
All right,
I
so
know.
a couple other things I wanted to touch on before we get into it. If you'd like to leave us a question and be featured on next week's show, all you got to do, leave a little comment in the comments below. And then you will be on the next week's show in the question segment, which is going to be like overflowing someday. We just know it.
I do have a question that I can plug in at the end of the show.
Oh,
if you want.
okay. All right. Thanks, Caitlin.
I'm not sure. Is it in here already?
I don't know. That was a good
But
guess.
she'd ask a question. She'd ask a question.
Okay, cool. And yeah, I was thinking about getting Elena to do it, but I was like, maybe I'm just going to keep holding out
Keep
hope.
hoping.
Yeah. But yeah, so how's everybody doing this week, Anthony? I know you've been a little bit on the not so great side.
Oh, I've been a lot better. I was really sick, and that was sucked. But the upside to that was I played a buttload of Pokemon.
I've been hearing about this Pokemon. And you got Pokemon what? Sword or Shield?
Sword, yep.
Sword.
I went with the sword.
Sharp one.
Oh, I just like the Legendaries design, honestly, a little bit better. Some of the exclusive Pokemon you got in Shield were a little bit cooler, but
So how do they? Okay, well, I'll just ask this real quick. How do they deal with the link cable stuff? Like,
all wireless.
all okay. Well, I knew that, but I mean, like, so do they do it as like you can only find these ones in Shield and these ones in Sword? Is
Yep,
it still the
exactly.
same?
Yeah,
that's
so
the way it's always been.
Exactly. So it's like, in the little areas or whatever you're walking around, like, say, like for me, a Lotad pops up. For you playing Shield, which is actually opposite. Lotad's in Shield, and Sword has like Manectric or something. So it's like in the originals like Growlithe and like Vulpix, like red and blue.
Okay.
The difference.
And I know something's been going on with Tyler. You got a whole fancy new setup behind us here.
I know. I got my computer set up in the basement, getting more and more stuff done down here. Yeah, the studio's coming together.
It is coming together.
Yeah, pretty nice.
Oh shit!
That's
Is that a 3D printer?
Oh, I forgot you had that.
Do it.
Yeah.
3D
Holy crap!
printer.
I forgot all about that as well.
I got devious ideas for
Yeah, I
that.
brought down here. I actually brought that down here today, and I mean I haven't plugged it in or anything, but
I remember when you got that, and I just straight up forgot.
You know what I
Yeah.
meant to tell you is that you should use that if you guys use Mini in your D&D game you play.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
That's
Make
really what I
little
want to
tokens
do.
or something. That'd be sick.
Yeah, make some miniatures and paint them and
That'd be really cool.
stuff like that. I've been kind of interested in getting involved in that for a little while. I mean, there's so
Sounds
many.
good.
I mean, I think there's a website that you can design your own character for D&D, and then it'll just like generate a miniature, like
That's
a
sick.
3D model that you can just set it in a 3D
Do you have to have
printer.
Blender or anything, or it just goes to like the printer's program?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like a different specific type of file. I mean, there's websites that you can just go and get models from. And I remember when I first got the 3D printer, I would go in and I found like a PlayStation icon. I printed a PlayStation icon. I found like a Halloween chalice.
Yeah,
like
you
a
had that
pumpkin.
chalice
So
up
is
there.
it
Forever
just,
the
is it just
yellow
like
one.
Death Stranding when it works? You just see some lights beaming and then like things appear out of nowhere?
I mean,
It's kinda like
I mean,
spider
not
thread,
out of
right?
nowhere.
It's
Or
like
what do you?
But-
Okay, you put like a block of something.
Yeah, so you have it's filament, so it's like a spool of like this solid. It's
Okay.
called PLA, I think. And then it goes through a tube, and then it like superheats it, and then it does it like layer by layer on this just piece of paper or something like that.
Okay.
And then just like builds it up from the ground up. And you have to specify whether it's like a solid or if it's hollow or whatnot. And,
Gotcha. That's pretty
But-
neat. I mean, it's extremely neat.
Yeah.
I'd love to see it in action one day. But
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, this one here, like, is very, very, very beginner level 3D printer. It's got like some really stupid restrictions, which is why I probably stopped using it.
Can't make
What do you-
boobs.
Yeah, what? Like, what's the restriction? They're like, oh, you can't do like a certain height or like.
No, so like you have to use like a very specific type of filament in order for it to work with this specific 3D printer. And it's dumb because like the spools that you buy have a chip in it, and the chip needs to register with the printer. But if the chip doesn't work properly, then for example, like the first spool that I had, it's still got like a good amount left on it, but the chip on it says that it's completely gone.
Oh,
so
no.
therefore, I can't even like use the remainder of the
That
PLA
sucks.
Yeah.
to make anything.
Seems like you need to jailbreak that thing.
Yeah, maybe. I'm sure
something.
there might be a way.
Yeah, that just seems like a headache though. That's stupid to like, oh wow, it's like it's empty. No, I got a whole bunch of stuff left.
Right.
Oh, that's annoying.
But I definitely want to make some cool things. If you guys want anything, maybe I'll make you something for Christmas.
Ooh.
Not a bad idea.
That's what my game plan was. I was like, I guess everybody's getting pictures for Christmas.
Yeah, I'm just sending out wedding pictures. That's my plan.
Hell yeah, that's perfect.
Nah.
Little trading cards for everybody.
I was gonna send pictures of myself to you guys. Just make
yeah.
Christmas cards of myself.
It'd be pictures of
I'll
me in
take it.
Tyler's basement.
I was actually planning on surprising Elena with like a fully done. wed-
her.
Well,
won't you listen?
She's already making it.
Ah.
So I was gonna do the wedding album. She's like already done ordered it and shit.
Wow.
So I'm gonna have to think of something else.
Womp womp.
She's
Thanks
2
for your
steps ahead
concern.
of you.
Ty.
Speaking of like trading cards, imagine how cool would it be if for like the bridal party you just made like trading cards for everybody, and those were kind of like gifts that you gave to everyone.
Like with stats and stuff.
Yeah.
Like this person-
Coolness, party ability, hair level.
Why did you give me body slam?
I think that's a pretty cool idea.
That's cool.
I might steal it.
Do
I
it.
like it.
Hey.
But you gotta get them, in the plastic, like a good hologram Charizard. You
Oh,
can't
yeah.
just have a flimsy old card.
Yep. It's got to be foil.
It's gotta be
Yeah.
foil in the
Yeah.
collector's case.
The best man's foiled.
Yeah, he is.
Holographic.
Is that what you called those? What did you call the sleeves that you put them in that were hard?
Just like protector cases.
Okay.
Just
No
protector
special
sleeves. Yeah.
Right.
They might, but I might be wrong.
So
I-
Kenny, what's up with you over in your new spot over there? What'd you do to get the demotion?
You know, I was over there. I told Tyler he sucked at Rocket League, and
I do suck at Rocket League. I was playing the other night with Dan and Patty. They suck at Rocket League.
So you were carrying them. You were like,
Oh yeah.
You were
Well, we were playing casual and destroying people. I mean, I was destroying people.
Tyler's like, let me clarify
And
that.
I'm like, all right, let's like this is no competition.
Bump it up.
Put us in competitive. Let's see how we do.
Oh God.
And we lost every game.
It's crazy how people really do pay attention to if you're in a casual or a competitive match. Like
Yeah.
people have gotten in line and like are part of that nowadays. I felt like
Mhm.
maybe back in the day I was a little bit more like, yeah, there's not too big of a difference, but nowadays,
The mindset is just like,
yeah, maybe the esports phenomenon has spurred that. I don't know.
that's trying to get that competitive Pokemon going on. Gotta find my 5-6 IV Ditto.
Oh yeah, I've been hearing about that shit. And
Oh,
I
my
gotta ask
God.
you about it once we get to the
Mhm.
games we've been playing.
Oh yeah, that's
But yeah,
game's real.
so you were like what, 60 some hours into it now?
Now, yeah, I think I border 70. I'm at like 69 hours now.
Okay, well we are gonna get some hot off the presses impressions on the brand new Pokemon game, Pokemon Sword, from Anthony Duart over here. All right, I think it might be time to get into it. I mean, I think we're just sort of like, well, what else should we banter about before we talk about some games?
I do have to say, I
On the
like your
coattails.
sweater a lot. Very
My
nice,
sweater?
very nice. Like a good. I know. I don't think it's not. I don't mean it as an offensive way to say it now because of everything that's happened with him. But it's a good Cosby sweater.
It's like a good Christmas sweater. It's like
Yeah.
the opposite of an ugly sweter.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's just a good sweater. It looks good.
I could see
very
like a
nice.
nice little bit of pudding.
Pudding pops.
Pudding.
I said, you see this thing in the news where he's like, "That's racial injustice. I touch those girls to see," and he's like trying to. He's crazy now. Bill Cosby's nuts.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to be doing so well
No.
in the mental facility department. You know that he's got a house up in Shelburne?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Wow, huh?
Yeah, he's local.
Damn.
You know, like, who knows? Maybe some of those acts took place there. Like, have this drink real quick.
Come on down to my house in Shelburne Falls. I got some kids in the country. I don't know. No one's gonna come and bother us. It's okay. You can bring your script. I know you're a writer, sweetie.
All right, another solid.
Rudy. Get the pudding pops and let's talk about the video games.
I wish we had some pudding pops.
Me too.
But we are going to talk about some video games.
That works.
All right. So, Pokemon Sword, what are your beginning, middle, and end impressions?
Oh, God.
Were you satisfied as a Pokemon fan?
As a Pokemon fan, playing it, it was just like every time I sat down to play it, it was just like the first time I sat down to play it. Actually, I'm a great employee. I left work early the Friday it released on my lunch to go pick up the game I'd pre-ordered at Chicopee. So I picked it up and I brought it back. And the good employee I was, since it was a slow Friday, I had my Switch. So I cracked into it then. And I got to say, starting it up, it was amazing because it felt like I was playing Red and Blue again. Because it's like a big... The Pokemon's been on handheld systems for years, and the Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee that came out, like 2 years ago now? 1 year?
1 year, actually.
That was like the first console, well, quote-unquote first console Pokemon aside from Pokemon Coliseum or Stadium and all that. But it was just like a glorified remake, and it was good, and they added stuff to it. But Sword and Shield, or Sword at least, has been phenomenal so far. It's just, you open it up, it's like the detail on like everything. For a Switch game, it's phenomenal. Like, I know people were kind of like bitching about the graphics, and I can see like the trees in the wild area look like the trees from Majora's Mask. But Majora's Mask is one of my favorite Nintendo games of all time.
It is 19 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, other like that looks fine. The outline, like Pokemon are super nice in handheld mode, docked. It's great on the TV. It's insane to see like that level of detail. It sucks that not all like close to 1,000 Pokemon are in it, but it makes it easier for trying to complete the Pokedex, which I'm almost at. I'm 30 away now. I'm 370 out of 400.
How many of those do you need to trade with Shield people to get?
There's like a big handful. I think I only need about like 5 more version specific. I have my other buddy Ryan, who's playing with me. He's got Shield, so we're trading the exclusives.
Oh, okay. I should have known that you already had a buddy you were linked up with.
Oh yeah, I was like, I gotta get these. I want to complete them. At first, I didn't know. Like when I was first starting to play, like I usually don't really care about Dex completion, but knowing that, I kind of like they really pooled the Pokemon in this one down to like a smaller pool.
So there's actually manageable?
Definitely.
Yeah.
And it's cool because right in, like, they have the new place, the wild area you go to, which you're introduced within the first hour of the game before you get your first badge. And the way that it happens is cool because you can't just go out and be like, I'm going to go catch a, like, level 70 a Steelix or something, because those will appear, or like a Machamp. They are restricted by the badges you get. So by the number of badges increases the max level of Pokemon you can catch in the wild.
Oh, okay. That's how they do it. Interesting.
And it's pretty cool how they do it in the badges. Or it's like, it's weird how it starts. I didn't know what they were going to do with it, but it's like this cool little gold ring, and you get the little like pieces to fill it in, so you fill up a circle, and that's once completed is your like full gym challenge badge.
Can you do? Can you make them? Can you fight and be viable against these people that might be 10 or 15 levels above you? That's
one of the coolest parts, is that if you feel like you have like a solid, or you just want to like go and you do some of the like max raid battles that are in the area, you get this new reward item in the game is EXP candies, which is like step down or step up depending on what size it is from a rare candy. And that just gives a Pokemon a certain amount of experience. They have like 5 sizes: extra small, small, medium, large, and extra large. And each one of those gives them a different amount of experience. And you could just like straight power level. Like if you're grinding a bunch of those raids, just throw them all into your starter or throw them all into one of your guys. Like power them up enough, start taking on guys in the field. You have EXP share from the start, so all your guys in your team are getting experience
on your team, and you don't have to like swap them in for 2 seconds and then swap them back out.
Exactly. And you started off like other games like X and Y started it, where they would just give it to you in the beginning. Like you'd go through like maybe, I don't know, the first like hour of it, get a couple Pokemon in your starter, they'd give you the XP share. This one, it's just straight up like you have it. It's like not something that is an item in the game. I think you can turn it off and on, but I haven't really figured out how to do it, nor have I wanted to, because it's just so much more manageable with like having everything.
So you, I want you to explain a little bit more about what the raids are, because that's a first in the series, right?
Yeah, I've been loving it too. It's, if you're connected, you can press Y at any time to access this thing called the YCOM when you're in any part in the game. Once you hit it, you go to this little menu where you can connect to the internet. You choose to connect. You have local connection if you're playing with people around you, or you can also hop online. And the online connection is you just have pretty much anybody online you can choose to do raid battles with. You can trade, which random trade, unless you have a room code. So if you, like, say if me and you were playing online and I'm home and you're at home, I'd have to text you, be like, hey, Wiley, go online and put in this code for link trade, like 8597.
Okay.
And we'd have to do it pretty much at the same time, or we wouldn't get linked up with each other. Because I could be, like, probably 3 out of the 5 times I've connected online with my friend Ryan, we've gotten other people. Like it's just been like one time it was a random Japanese kid, another time it's just another random guy.
Well, that's not great.
It is a little weird, so you got to make sure you're trading with the right person. Because the first time I did it, I almost traded with somebody who I was like, oh crap, this isn't who I wanted to trade with.
Well, that's so. Why can't do you set the passcode or is it like?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's like you only have 4 digits max to choose from.
oh, just 4 digits.
So
and not
somebody
even
else
letters?
could have that same
Oh, wow.
combination.
Yeah. So like that, you don't run into that issue.
It's
in
weird. I don't know why they
Bloodborne
would
or
do
Dark
that.
Souls
Yeah.
because you make a very specific like. We would do like WSU TV Club 428 or something.
Yeah, they definitely should expand on that. I think to have a better, like a solid trading. I don't know. I mean, it boggles me. I don't know if it's like a server thing or what, but like just have put a 4-digit code in. But you
At
could
the
literally
exact
anybody.
same time and be like, all right, 3, 2, 1, go.
That's how we had to do it. I was like, ready, okay, go, and then I'd like enter it quick and put it, and then he would do it, and then it'd work. But I mean, it was good though. When it worked. It was awesome. But it was just very annoying to be like, okay, wait, is this you? And then I'd have to like back out quick and see the person's name.
Is that how you also would do it if we wanted to battle competitively?
Competitively is a little easier because you can just be like, oh, okay, hey, like if it's me and you in the same room, we would just do local, which is way easier. But online, I actually haven't battled online yet aside from raids, so I think it might be the same code. I think it might be like you have to put in the 4-digit code to do it. I don't know why they wouldn't just be like, oh, hey, if someone's on your friends list, like I don't know why you can't just directly.
Yeah.
You see them online, like you can see your friends in this little. It's got a little like when you play an online game, it's got like the refresh chat, like World of Warcraft on the left, or like an MMO.
Mm-hmm.
It's got like that, but just instead of a chat, it's just icons of like people of trading, or it's like this guy's trading, or this guy just caught a certain
Oh, really?
Pokemon.
And is that always active?
Mm-hmm.
That's kinda
Whenever you're
cool.
online, or even for you, like if you're just in the wild area, it'll just say, "Oh, your trainer's name," and then the little icon with like you caught a Pokemon, you saw something in a raid.
Oh, so does it do that with other players that you aren't friends with as well? Like
Yes.
oh, really? So
Yeah.
it'd be like, Jimbo 48 caught a Onyx or something might pop up.
Yeah, just like right on the left, but it's cool because it's condensed. It's just a little square that looks like a speech bubble with like a little graphic with like a little guy doing this with like a Gyarados if he caught it, or specifically, or like just like a battle or whatever. But it's cool to like know it's like, oh, these people are doing it, and other trainers actually show up as NPCs, but you can see them moving around, and you can talk to them, and they give you food ingredients for another new mechanic, cooking. You can make curry at your little Pokemon camp, so you can camp it anywhere now.
Huh. So, okay, what was I going to ask about? It was about when you are. I lost my train of thought. Sorry.
That's okay. No, like I know another thing about the raid battles too. It's really cool because it's also a little bit random. I just wish there was a little bit more like solid connectivity, because it always kind of feels like, okay, if you aren't in by this certain time, like even if we are playing together, we might not be able to battle. When you go into a raid, you can click on one of the dens. They'll have it's like these little rock formations, and they'll either be like a big red beam of light or a big purple beam. Which purple beam is like, oh, it's 5 stars, is a hard Pokemon or a super rare one. And you go in, you click either ask others to join, don't join others, or switch Pokemon. So it defaults to the first guy in your party, or you can go into your box or your party and choose a different guy if you want. And you choose them from there, and then you hit, if you are online and you want others to join, you click have others join. You're already set, is like the leader. Then it gives you I think a max time of 3 minutes to connect. So it like just waits for 3 minutes for other people who are out looking for raid battles, or we'll see that you're looking for a raid battle and can check, be like, oh, I want to join. So they'll pop in, or if you have a friend who's playing, just be like, oh, look at the refreshing, because the YCOM has a little screen almost in line with the chat that refreshes. That'll say, hey, I'm doing a raid battle, or hey, I'm looking to trade, so they can
Okay.
join that way.
So for a Nintendo game, is it pretty well implemented, or is it like, does it feel like, oh man, this is so much less functional than it should be?
It's well implemented, definitely for a Pokemon game. It's just new. I think the rooms have a lot. Like, I would definitely like to see a little bit more stable. Kind of like, okay, I want to connect with you, or I want to connect with you. Like, can I just check like my friend, or like enter their friend code, or choose their profile? Like, hey, I want this specific person.
Sounds
Instead of
sounds a
random.
lot like how like DBZ
Yeah.
Fighters was
Yep, the
at
arena.
the beginning. Yeah,
Mhm.
that
Those
was
are just
pretty
random.
tiresome.
That was bad. Yeah, because what did you have to do? You had to find a random server, or like a specific server you wanted to be like, okay,
Yep.
oh yeah, connect. That's right, because we were doing it even in the beta. It's like, okay, connect to this. Okay, wait, are you in the lobby? No. Okay, let me go back out. Let me choose like the second one.
Right. Yeah.
it's kinda like
was
that.
annoying.
So when I was a kid and I would play these Pokemon games over and over again, the appeal to me was that I would start a new game and I would try a new squad, and I would, be like, okay, I'm gonna, give this Nidoking a fair shot and see if he's like a viable Pokemon. How do you do that? What keeps you wanting to experiment in the game? Like, what's the content that brings you back? Is it the wild area? Is it specifically the raids? Is it
Yeah. It's pretty much
Wants to
been
get all 400.
I mean, I know there's that, too,
for
but
the shiny charm.
besides the gotta catch 'em all aspects, what's the post game? How does it keep you coming back?
Definitely the wild area because it changes every day. There's different Pokemon that are in it. I mean, the first is that they're popping up in the overworld, like Let's Go, Pikachu, and Eevee. But there's Pokemon from all generations, just like patches of grass. They'll pop up. You can see them. And there's certain special ones that'll pop up with like a yellow aura around them that the Pokemon themselves have dubbed Brilliant Pokemon. And if you go and fight them, you can either knock them out or catch them. Which is recommended. Don't really want to run away from them because they have higher stats, or at least one guaranteed perfect stat. And like this goes into competitive territory, like EVs and IVs values of Pokemon.
Maybe we'll save that for another time.
Yeah, that's a whole thing. Like it's crazy how in depth it was, which was always kind of like keeping me away from it. But it's cool now. I feel like that I've studied or watched some videos and done some research. I know I have like a little grasp of it, but. Those are cool. You can find them in the wild anywhere now randomly. But the more of those you knock out, the more you'll have a chance of finding that kind of Pokemon as a shiny in the wild, which is neat.
What's a shiny?
They're just like an off-colored Pokemon that have no difference in stats or whatever. It's just a different color.
So
and people
just a
are
different
wild.
skin. Huh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Rarer.
Yeah.
And do they have like an event thing pop up when you start the game? Like there are, Ninetales is appearing in this area today.
I'd like that a lot. I think that's what they should do is more like start and kind of incorporate like the game services kind of deal with this since it's live.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're starting to do ranked online battles. I'm not sure if that's already a thing or they're putting that in. But definitely the wild area has had me coming back because you can do raids anytime you want. You can get these little things called wishing pieces in the game to throw into Pokemon dens to force a raid to happen. So you'll spawn a Pokemon if there's none that are around like in the raid den to like, oh hey, let's get together and raid, or if you just want to grind for materials.
Okay, now I'm getting kind of into the nitty gritty here, but do you know if when you're running into Pokemon in the wild area, if the pool of Pokemon is the same as other players? You said it switches on a daily basis.
I think it depends on the date that you're playing on. A lot of you're playing on like the same date as everybody else because you can go in and manually change the clock.
Oh.
Because the weather changes in the wild area, and depending on what the weather is different Pokemon will spawn.
Gotcha.
For
Okay.
different areas.
So it seems like you can game it a little bit. Maybe you don't
Yeah.
have to like, oh, I can't get this Pokemon because I missed it on Tuesday.
Exactly. But I don't know if there's a penalty to it. That's the only thing that sketches me out because I don't think anybody in the community knows if there's a penalty to going in and like moving the system clock back and forth yet. So I don't know if they would, but
I should have like a Mr. Rossetti type come and yell at you.
oh, what are you doing? But yeah, it's been definitely because remember like earlier in the year when I beat Ultra Moon. I think I put it down like almost immediately after I beat it because I was like, oh, I want to beat it. The post game was, I think I'm still going through that post game, but it just wasn't like, oh yeah, you can go catch the Ultra Beast now, and I was like, oh whatever. But
So sounds like you're pretty stoked on it.
oh yeah, I am very much enjoying it. I'm very sad because I know that it's gonna run out soon on me.
I know. What are you gonna
Buzz
do
is
once
gonna
you hit
die.
the 400?
I don't know. I'm probably gonna start being like, that's okay. You can shiny breed. You can try to get your competitive team going, and then I'm not gonna do anything with it, and then it'll probably just ground from there. But I'd like to do competitive. I think it'd be fun. I like Pokemon.
So you'll probably be at you said you're at hour 70ish. You'll probably be at hour 80 something or 90 by the time you get the 400.
Probably, yeah.
I mean, you can't complain with that.
No, I got my miles out of it. It just
Yeah.
sucked because the post game content was like, here's your one little quest. And you could do a couple other little things, but I'd beaten the main campaign in like 39 hours, and that was with going and exploring everything.
Does it let you have multiple save files?
Nope, that's the only thing that sucks.
Dude,
Yeah.
why? Same thing with other Pokemon games.
Mhm.
Like that's like I would always be like, I got used to it after a while.
Yep, exactly.
Because I literally beat Pokemon Yellow, I think, a dozen times as a kid.
Because that's what sucks about having to like. What sucks, but like also you're like, okay, I have my high level Pokemon, but now I can go back and kind of experiment with a different team in raid battles, or like the battle tower is an extra place to battle with guys you can register, or you can do the gym challenge, not the gym challenge, but the ending tournament, which is like a series of 4 battles as many times as you want.
I guess you could make a new Switch profile.
That's true. You could.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's very true.
Gotcha, Nintendo. Pokemon Company.
That's how people are cheesing it for different for shinies for Masuda methods. I think they have to get a second console though and change it to like a different language and then play up to where they can get a Ditto and then trade it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think they also have an additional incentive for like the what is it, the Pokemon Home,
Yeah,
or whatever.
oh, yeah.
So if you did want to like keep all your Pokemon, throw them all into Pokemon Home and start a new game, and
Yeah, when that
They are
launches.
offering that.
I think they do.
I think
right?
that's good because it's basically going to be like the way they're advertising it hasn't dropped yet. It's like there's Pokemon Bank for years on the handheld with the DS, but now I think they're going to retire that, and then Pokemon Home is going to be the new Pokemon Bank for the Switch.
Gotcha.
Well, my understanding is that they're all going to connect. Like, so
really?
the Pokemon Bank will connect with the home because that's the way for you to port over
Good.
the games from the DS, like the Pokemon that you have on your 3DS, over into the Switch once they start allowing the older Pokemon that and into the new Switch
For
versions.
sure. I really hope, and I think so, because I think there's people
Yeah,
that have found like Mewtwo's data already in the game and like other Pokemon.
Yeah, so they're gonna start allowing it. So that's the whole thing with the home. Like so the Pokemon Bank is gonna be able to. You're gonna be able to link it. So you'll have to log in with the same Nintendo account that you have the Switch on the 3DS on the bank on. Whatever that is, because I have mine on my 2DS.
Okay.
And I have like 500 Pokemon in there. I'm pretty sure I have like
Yeah.
almost all the older ones.
I've got a boatload in mine.
I think I even have almost all the legendaries in my bank because luckily sometimes I was the guy sending out a lot of Magikarps in the Wonder Trade.
Oh God, yeah.
And
Again, I've met up with so many of you guys already because they have that same thing. But now you can put it in the background and do it while you play, which makes it easier. But I'm just getting Squirrels. I'm getting Magikarps. I got the Water Starter, which was really cool from some very nice person. But
yeah, that was me. I'm part of that community that sends out the Magikarp when I get something really good, and they get my shitty Magikarp in return.
karma it sucks. I'm like, oh, I want something cool. But then I infect it with Pokerus and send it back out to have somebody else have fun. So that's good.
Really making me want to pick it up. I don't know.
It's great, man. I mean, it's definitely, if you want a nice like 40-hour, something to bring you a little nostalgia. It's a really good Japanese turn-based RPG with little cool monsters you catch and fight.
I hear the music's good too.
The music is actually pretty good.
Yeah,
I'm a fan.
I heard on one podcast they said that it ripped.
I don't know. I don't know if it rips, but it's like pretty good. The gym
Okay.
music is sweet. It's got this little nice like when you're in the last Pokemon of like the gym leader, like you got him down to the last guy. That's when they Gigantamax. So you go into the big stadium and they make their Pokemon huge. But then the crowd starts like joining into the song. So like
that's neat.
So it's
Like
pretty sweet.
like almost a whole soccer field.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
you know how
it's like it's supposed to emulate like a big soccer field is where all the gyms are. You go through the little gym challenge, which is basically when you would walk into gyms in older Pokemon games, that little journey you would make like up the stairs or whatever to get to the gym leader and
To
you
get
fight
to
the
like
guys.
the platform that would be like a taekwondo area or something.
Yeah. You have a whole little challenge to do. Like the first gym is just like you herd sheep or the Wooloo, the little sheep Pokemon. So you just like have to walk. Basically, it's just a straight line where you have to make sure that you can herd them into like the goal area without the little dog corgi Pokemon trying to like chase them away. You know, like, get out of here, and then you fight trainers along the way.
Okay.
It's neat.
Cool.
It's very fun.
You weren't here last week, and you made up for it this week with those hot impressions.
Those hot Pokemon tips.
Those hot cakes.
And now we're going to be moving on. I want to hear from Kenny, who's been the Mr. Ambassador over here, who has access to the beta of xCloud, the new streaming service coming to platforms everywhere. It's the Microsoft thing. It's the Stadia killer is what they're calling it.
I think Stadia is going to kill itself. I don't think we have to worry about anything killing Stadia.
So I know you hopped into a couple different games. Tell me about your experiences.
So I definitely jumped in. I was like, yesterday I was at home and I was like, shit, like I've been playing on the Xbox the last couple of nights since my controller broke, and one of my buddies was like, listen, I could barely hear you with that cheap controller that you bought. Like, it must not be connecting well to your mic. So I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go pick up a new controller. So I went last night, picked up a new controller, and I'm like, wait a second, this is a new controller, so it has the Bluetooth capability. So I'm like, let me finally get into the xCloud, so I downloaded it and I started checking what games it had available, and it had quite a few, and I was like, really, it has Borderlands 2 and the pre-sequel on it, Gears 5, Bloodstained, Ritual of the Night. So I was like, let me try two completely different sides of the spectrum. So I was like, let me try Bloodstained first, and looked great. Honestly, I was like, wow, is this?
And this is on your Samsung S10 or
S10 Plus? Yep.
Okay.
I was playing it on my Samsung S10 Plus, and honestly, I was sitting there and I was like, this game looks very amazing on the phone. And it was full stream. It gives you this little it tells you it goes through this load screen, and it's setting up stream, connecting, and then starts the game up. And on the top right, it'll tell you, it'll give you a little icon letting you know how's your connection going and stuff like that. And Bloodstained played pretty good. You could tell there was some input lag at times, but for something that's in beta, it didn't seem like it had too many bugs to it.
Okay.
But I will say that it felt kind of like I was very confused. Like, was like, I understand it's in the beta, but I am curious as to see how it would work. Like, can you party up, you know, with one of my friends, you know, that's maybe at home playing on their console, and I'm on my phone playing it at, you know, wherever I'm at. Because, you know, normally it's with Instincts, pressing the Xbox button in the middle of the controller, you know, that brings up my menu, right? Actually, what it did was just throw me to my home of my phone.
Oh,
so I was like, okay, what did I do
Shock
here?
to the system.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, I'm like, let me figure this out. Brought it back up, right? And so then I was like, all right, how do I exit the game and get back to the catalog? So then I saw the little X on the top left corner, exit the game. So I was like, you know, I played like I want to say at least 20 minutes of Bloodstained real quick.
Beat that first boss.
No,
It's kind of tough.
but I was running around exploring the map a little bit, and I was like, okay, it feels good. It felt good. And with Bloodstained, it really worked. I feel because Bloodstained, you know, being like a 2.5D, you know, game, it looked very well, and it wasn't too much. It wasn't overwhelming on my screen playing it. Then I went and played Gears 5 after I exited Bloodstained, and I decided I wasn't gonna just do campaign. I said, if we're really testing this before, you know, the recording, let's hop in a multiplayer match through xCloud. Jumped in, and it was very overwhelming.
Really?
Because my screen's not that big. You know, even though the screen is pretty big on an S10 Plus, not big enough for, at least for me. Maybe some other people might have no issues with it.
How far away were you playing it?
I was I would like to say about how far the White Claw is from Tyler.
Okay.
So
About 3 feet for the audio listeners.
Yeah, about 3 feet.
So from where you're sitting now,
like
it's
2 feet.
2 feet. So about that distance, you know, I had it propped up right in front of me on a chair.
Okay.
The chair, and I was sitting down. The chair was like almost like one of those high chairs, so it was kind of almost eye level. And honestly, like I really at times couldn't even tell who was my teammate and who was the enemy.
But how was the performance?
Very well. Almost no lag, on screen lag. There was some input lag still on with that game as well.
Okay.
But we're talking about an online multiplayer match of King of the Hill, where people are throwing grenades, shotgunning, using lancers. What are they not doing at all points in time? And the input lag was very minor. Like, you know, at times it did feel like, wow, like I should have caught that person with the shotgun, and I didn't, you know, like type thing. But it was still played very smoothly. But I was pretty much in the same room as my Wi-Fi connection. So I wasn't too far away. So I feel like I didn't put too much stress on the connection. You know, maybe I'll try it again and be like 5-6 rooms away from my Wi-Fi to see how it plays at that point. You know, but I was extremely close. So the connection was like full bars on my Wi-Fi.
You have to play it on Wi-Fi?
No, you could play with data. So, but I have a T-Mobile connection, and in my house, connection, if it's not Verizon or AT&T, the connection sucks at my house for any service carrier that's not those two. So I might attempt it off Wi-Fi as well to see how it works, because when you sign up for the beta, you have to literally tell them what service provider you have, and they'll verify. They verify, oh, you have T-Mobile, and they'll go put you through like this verification that that your provider is T-Mobile. You provide your phone number. They authenticate it with T-Mobile, make sure that you have T-Mobile.
Why do they care?
Because they want to check how it works across different carriers.
Okay, fair enough.
So they're really collecting data on almost everything.
Okay.
So
I had a question. So you have played some Gears 5 on Xbox, so you had some progression in the multiplayer.
Yep.
Did that carry right over to when you were playing on xCloud?
Yep.
Okay.
So it literally logs me in, like logged in with my profile and picked right back up to the point where I was already one rank away from gaining an achievement, gaining the Reach Sergeant rank achievement, and I gained it while playing on the phone, the xCloud one. So I gained an achievement, one of the early achievements in Bloodstained, I think the first one from opening the chest or something, one of those achievements. So I gained that one, and it actually registers with my regular profile on the Xbox.
Nice. That's
So,
impressive.
Yeah.
And I know that this is still in beta. It's still like an invite-only beta. No release on, or no Doesn't have a release date at this point, I don't
No.
think, right?
And I feel as though the beta is kind of like pretty liberal into letting you try and letting you sign up, and you'll just get picked within a couple weeks.
And the games that you have access to, do you have to be a Game Pass subscriber?
I'm believing you don't have to be because it's a beta. So I feel like it would suck if you're in here and they're collecting the data off of you playing.
Yeah.
I feel so I can't confirm it because I am a Game Pass user.
Right.
User. It'd be interesting, like if Anthony, do you have Game Pass?
I had it. I have to resign up
So
for it.
it would be interesting if you got picked, right, to see if you're allowed to play the same games I'm allowed to play without having Game Pass. Because I would hope that they allow you to play it because they're collecting all this data to make their app better.
How many games were on it?
From what I saw, there was at least 25 games.
Okay.
I was just quickly going through the list. So I saw games like Absolver.
Mm-hmm.
I saw the Bloodstained. I saw Gears.
So it wasn't the full library. It was like
I
select.
saw like a select few. I saw some. I definitely was caught off guard with like games like Gears and Borderlands, which I felt like games that can get very frantic on screen.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna be streaming it and on a small screen, how is this gonna work?
Right. I mean, but the future obviously is that you won't just be limited to your phone, and you could be
The tablet,
tablet. The TV is the someday, but why would you at this point with the latency and everything? And it's why Stadia is going to fail and yada yada.
Yep.
Yep. All right. Well, thanks for your xCloud impressions, Tyler. I know you finally got on the Game Pass train
Yep.
through your PC.
Yep, and I started to download a couple games, just to give it a whirl. I played like Ape Out for like maybe an hour.
Good game.
That was pretty cool.
Did you get to the level where you're going down the building?
No. I
No.
didn't.
Okay, that's the best one.
Ape Out. I just downloaded Kingdom Come Deliverance. I'm gonna try that out. And I played maybe like an hour and a half of what was it called?
Red Strings Club.
Red Strings Club, a Devolver Digital game. Very heavily narrative driven.
Just like Wolf Among Us, The Walking Dead.
No, not really. It just has like these random mechanics. It just starts you off like in a bar, and you have to pour a drink in order to like fill somebody's like pride, like anger, and then there's like some other characteristic, and then a robot comes crashing in, and this guy plugs himself into the robot, and now all of a sudden you're this robot.
Sounds
kind
surreal.
of retracing the memories of this robot. And
What's the aesthetic?
it's like cyberpunk.
Okay.
Yep.
And like graphical style, is it like
It's-
2D visual novel sort of?
No, not really. I mean, it's a typical kind of like 2D, like Devolver Digital, like 2D kind of like pixelated,
Okay,
like art style.
gotcha.
With just like a lot of narrative. I mean, think of like they made The Messenger, right?
Well,
or no.
They
Time
didn't
Zero.
make it. No, and I know Devolver has a very distinct sort of flair, but they actually publish the games, and you probably knew that.
Right.
Yeah, but they do definitely have a distinct look for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, every time I see their name, I'm always like, all right, I want to see what this game's about.
Yeah, and they've definitely built a pedigree of finding cool talent and making cool games, or helping the world see these games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, right now I'm at the point where I'm making these like molds that like are modules that you put inside of people to like make them happier in life, and these people are coming in and like clotheslines. Like one person comes in and it's like, oh, I had this really great idea, but I don't have any investors but nobody's buying. I can't get any investors. And then you have an option to like build all these like molds that'll like give them like more persuasion ability in their life, or you can kind of go like two ways. You can make them more persuasive, so they might be able to like persuade people to finance their things, or you might be able to go to the other route and say, oh well, this person loses all the need for like greed and power and stuff like that.
So controlling people's fates, like
yeah,
depending on like, I don't like this person, they're gonna not do what they want to do.
right. But it seems like there is like a clear narrative direction for like how it wants you to play. Because I think for the first time, like I gave the guy the persuasion to be able to get investors, and he comes back and he's like, oh well, is he really going to be happy that way? And it's like, okay, well now I have to give him the lose all the need for greed and power.
And you play as a bartender essentially.
Well, no.
Was that only the beginning?
Yeah, that was
Okay,
only the
so I was
beginning.
just imagining that you were just pouring these drinks and changing all the traits of the characters based on what you were.
It's a good idea though.
No, yeah, it seems like you play as multiple different characters throughout it.
You like the
going with
writing?
narrative. Yeah, so far it's pretty interesting.
Funny.
More
serious?
Yeah, it's a little witty. It's a little more serious though.
Okay.
But I'm enjoying it so far.
Cool.
Sounds interesting.
I don't think that's on Game Pass for Xbox, although I'm not sure.
Which one? No,
The Red Strings Club. I know it came out early this year.
No, I haven't noticed that on the Game Pass collection. No.
But yeah, so that's on the PC Game Pass, which Tyler is now on. Hooray!
Got it for 3 months.
For $1.
Yeah,
Nice.
for $1. We'll see
Yeah.
how it goes after that.
All right. Anything else before I talk a little bit about that? Death Stranding.
More Death Stranding.
Yeah, I got to Tyler. Got to.
Did
Been
you
like
guys talk
3
about it
weeks.
last week?
Well, it's a game I've been playing for 3 weeks. It's 50 hours long. I finally rolled credits. I loved my time with it for the most part. The third act is like drastically differently paced than the rest of the game. It becomes a little bit more of a classic Kojima joint as you're getting, more of a frequency of cutscenes. The story's getting a little bit more out there, as you may or may not have expected. But for me, the sweet spot of the game really was maybe the 30 to 40 hour mark, where I felt like I knew all the mechanics, where I was really familiar with building structures and making my way across the map in a really, smart way, and using the environment to my advantage, and knowing just where to put this zip line. And I think maybe, I don't know if I had experienced a zip line when I talked about this game last, but like you build these zip lines that are pretty gigantic, and like you can, or they're not gigantic, they're big. You hook yourself onto them and you can shoot yourself right up a mountain. And so sometimes you'll find one, but there's nothing connecting to it. And you're like, oh, okay, well, wouldn't it be great if I could get from point A to point B really fast? It's going to build up my bridge link. I'm going to get a bunch of likes. So I'm going to put it over here. And lo and behold, if it's useful, you'll get a bunch of likes. Feels good. You get to go back to it and just zip across this really rugged terrain. They make it look really cinematic and cool. So like the zip lines were a big highlight for the middle portion of the game for me.
Nice.
Was just linking up these
And those are like, how big would you say like you can travel with them?
like 300 to 400 meters depending on the level, which is
Like, is there a limit for like how long they can travel?
yes, there is definitely a limit. Yes.
You just like shoot it out. So you just
that
like,
would break
aim
that
it.
would break the game if there was not a limit.
That'd be sick.
That
Yeah.
would be sick. But do you like? How do you set it up? Do you just like aim and shoot like a rope?
No, you have this one device called the PCC, which, wow, I can't think of what it stands for now, but you're allowed to portable something constructor. I don't know, but you construct all these different types of objects, whether that's a timefall shelter where you get protection from the rain, where you can also pass time. You can set up an item box. And as I was mentioning earlier in the episode, I was like, is that how a 3D printer works? It kind of just materializes. It takes like 20 seconds, and then eventually it'll be just done. And then you hook onto it. And then the first time I read one, I was like, holy shit, that's awesome. Because as everything in this game, like the animations are excellent, and there's a lot of attention to detail. And it can like look like a cutscene, even though it's just gameplay. And so that really never got old for me. The ending, I don't want to spoil anything, and I won't, but like it goes off the walls, and there's parts of it where I was loving it, where there's like a really great monologue between, or like, and good character development, which can be hit or miss overall in the course of the game, but there are some really high highs and there's some really cringeworthy and disappointing beats later on in the game. It's extremely self-indulgent. I thought I was done with the game last night at 11 o'clock. I was still playing at 1 o'clock. So it's one of those. It's got kind of that Lord of the Rings, Return of the King ending where you think it's over 8 times, but can't recommend. Well, actually, that's not true. I think you should look up the game, and if you think it's interesting, even at all, give it a shot, because it's might be my game of the year. I'm going to have to do some reevaluating and some soul searching before I give it that mantle, but I'm going to go home and play more because
Do you still have more to do?
I do.
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
That's all I'm going to say.
So, from my understanding, there's a secret door that you have to find in post game. Have you found it yet?
I just beat it last night,
So
Kenny,
don't
dude.
no. I just mean, like, does it pop up? Like, is there a quest that tells you, oh, go find
No,
this
so like
room or?
I will say that when I was done, it was like there was still a narrative thing left to do.
Okay.
And this is after the credits have rolled, and I don't want to say anything more. 'cause
No,
I think-
definitely.
Yeah.
You know, I'm definitely gonna come back and revisit the game, but so much has come out and so much has kind of like piled on my plate with Star Wars, the Jedi Fallen Order, things like that. Even though I haven't talked about that, but I want to play more. So maybe next week I'll talk about that.
Okay, I was about to say, Kenny, this is your time.
I know. No, not enough yet. Not enough gameplay in.
We are an hour in.
I don't know. No, we're not an hour in, but it's probably getting close.
Yeah,
Okay.
I believe we're about 35, almost 40 minutes in.
Oh, well, that's much different than an hour.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think that wraps up what we've been playing for the week. Time to move in for 2,
Take us
3,
away.
1.
And
We were just discussing before the show that we really need to make some type of like recording jingle. We don't have to make Tyler sing "Cruising for a Newsin" every week.
I mean, I don't mind.
make those noises with your mouth. It's like, it's good
What-
stress relief.
What you think, Tyler? Maybe we do some outtakes tomorrow.
Maybe.
Trying to
We can
in the
do that.
morning.
Okay, sounds
It's
good.
more the graphics that I'm worried about. Like I can record as many as I want. Just
Exactly.
having something visually appealing to throw along with
You
it.
can do like a little stop mo. We can do like a little stop motion, like you have a little puppet, like here's a car.
Oh, maybe we could mess around with something
I
like
also
that.
have some footage of me backing out of my driveway.
Yeah, and then just get really chop cut. This is good.
Let's go pick up a toy car that resembles exactly your car. So we got the footage of you backing up, and then we got the car on a string, just kind of.
Get around. We'll just record your car stationary in the driveway, and then we'll walk by it. Easiest way. And you save games.
I like
Nice.
it. I like it. All right, it's Cruising for a Newsin'. We're going to talk about what's been happening in the video game world. Not a whole lot this week. It's the end of the year. People are getting ready for the holidays and the turkeys and the Christmas trees, and they're just letting things be as they are. But we found some stuff for you.
You know, I never really realized how expensive the holidays are until it gets to like end of November, beginning of December, and I'm like,
Rough.
am I gonna be able to pay rent, or do I buy Christmas presents?
Yeah, and then yeah, I hear you, man.
Yeah.
I'm going through some financial stuff
That's
myself.
true. I know I can't really say anything compared to.
Oh, it's not that
Yeah.
bad, but I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
We're all in it together.
Yeah. All right. So the Pokemon Company. We already talked about Pokemon for 20 minutes. Now we're going to do it a little bit more. This is via Kotaku. As reported by Forbes in an attempt to track down and punish those responsible for the leaks. This is all about leaks that were caused pretty big headaches for them, I would say. The Pokemon Company hired outside forensic experts who were able to identify 4 Discord users, one of whom was the actual source. The other 3 were helping them disseminate the images on places like 4chan and Reddit. While their Discord usernames have been discovered, the Pokemon Company doesn't know who these people actually are, and so have gone to the U.S. District Court in Seattle in an attempt to get hold of information from Discord and 4chan that could help in tracking them down. Damn. The leaked images in question, of which were around a dozen, were photographs taken of the game's strategy guide. And then this is...
Which came out today. I pre-ordered it on Amazon. I beat the crap out of the game. I'm getting it in today in the mail.
It's like, I already know all these strats.
Yeah.
Man. That's beats the purpose.
Yeah.
Imagine being some kid on 4chan and you see some leaks or see some images of a game you're excited about and you post them on Reddit, and 3 weeks later the Pokemon Company is trying to serve you a subpoena. Yeah, that's kind of funny. While we're on the subject, but I doubt it was as innocent as that. They probably knew that shouldn't have been posting it, but who knows?
Oh, of course. They're like, whoa.
Yeah. While we're on the subject, if you've I thought this was an interesting aside about the security of the strategy guides. While we're on the subject, if you've ever wondered about the secretive conditions strategy guide companies have to work under to try and avoid leaks like this, check out this excerpt from the case. Prior to the release of Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield, information about the game's content was treated with the utmost secrecy. For example, TPCI performed background checks on employees, stored game content files on secure computers, restricted access to game working files to a limited number of individuals who could only gain access to files by entering a username and password, allowed those individuals to transfer game files using only secured methods, used digital measures to trace and mark files to prevent authorized access, and required users with access to game files to sign non-disclosure agreements. And then it goes on. These measures also apply to the strategy guide. In addition, TPCI requires contractors who work on the strategy guide to sign. And that's just saying what I just said.
Yeah.
It's pretty much like, yeah, they have to sign non-disclosure agreements, but the vendors, the people that are selling it, or people involved in the printing process, they have to have permissions to print the physical copies, rather than being like, oh, here's the files for, like, here's the PDFs of all the Pokemon.
I guess it just shows that where there's a will, there's a way. It's going to get out.
If it's going to get out, it's going to get out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
So what are the things like in question that they're going after these Discord users for?
It's probably honestly just like a couple pictures people snapped of, like, or maybe even like the PDF files, like it was leaked somehow from like the strategy guide, because Monster Hunter 3 way back on the 3DS when I bought it, and I was like, oh yeah, when strategy guides were still like a, I mean, I don't think they're still a big thing anymore, and I'm really upset because I love strategy guides. Nothing beats buying a new game with like a big fat book you can read while you also poop. But I guess now with the Switch you can just play the game while you poop. But they gave you the digital strategy guide with that, so it was just like a PDF you download, you put a code. So maybe it was just like literally like someone posted on the 4chan thread and was like, hey, here's a link to like my Mediafire link that'll go down in 30 days of like Pokemon Sword and Shield full strategy.
So it seems like it's more of an issue because it's probably somebody from the strategy guide team that leaked it.
I do want to just I did miss this part. So physical copies of the strategy guide are stored in secure locations under tarps, and individuals with access to the printed guides are not permitted to bring cell phones or cameras into the areas where the strategy guides are stored.
That's nuts.
That's kind of cool.
That
It's
is really
like,
cool.
Lockdown.
Yeah, so we need to pat you down before you enter
Can't
this.
look at this
You know-
Pokemon.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is that this reminds me of when I used to work security. So I was placed to do shift as a shift supervisor while they were printing at one of the local printing places that printed out the Walmart Black Friday ads.
Oh yeah. Oh god.
Like, so you had to like check them. Like, they literally couldn't. They were like, you can't let not one person walk out with an ad. Like, this can't get leaked because they were printing it. I want to say Black Friday, right, is this weekend. They were printing and making these ads in September.
Yeah.
And so
Get
like
started
you were
early.
there and you like, people would come in and you'd have to, cell phones, they'd have to check it in with you, like all this extra stuff. And as they were like, you would walk around and make sure, and like you'd have like all these cameras that you'd have somebody stationed watching the cameras, seeing like every like movement that they make, like seeing if they're trying to pocket like a sheet of the Black Friday ad into their pants or something.
Crazy.
So if they were acting sketchy, we'd have to pull them and be like, yo.
So did you ever catch somebody with a pocket full of deals?
I didn't. So,
No.
and I didn't hear any other supervisors that catch anybody out either on the other shifts.
So what though? Like, what's the point? What's the
They can't redeem
big
them,
deal?
right?
Yeah.
The deal, Tyler, is that people aren't going to buy that $800 TV if they know it's going to be $300 in 2 months.
I guess. But
Yep. Like, because I feel as though Walmart is like, oh, it's going to drive down on our current sales because people are going to just wait out for, Black Friday and things like that. But also, at least for us, because we were tasked with it, if we fucked up and there was leaks and it came from the printing place we were doing it, on the place I was working, I would lose the contract for that job.
Right.
Did
right.
you personally have to avert your eyes when you were like around them?
So, I personally, I didn't get to see the ads. Because we were
They were under tarps.
we were at our stations. Like, we were able to watch through cameras like the workers, but we personally could not go see the ads either, as they were getting printed. So the people there like saw it, like workers, but we didn't. Because we were at like the gates, like the checking, like the entering, like for their shift gates and stuff like that.
Interesting.
That's wild. I can't believe that's a lot of security for. I mean, especially for like a video game strategy guide.
Yeah, I mean, It's I guess it's necessary these days when anybody with a phone can blow it up.
I'm also really glad the Pokemon Company saved a lot of stuff for you to just discover in the game too. Like they gave a couple Pokemon away, but most of the Pokemon I ran into, like I didn't see in trailers and stuff, and I was like, oh, it's so cool.
How many of them are new?
I don't know the exact number, but there's a pretty decent amount of like brand new, like new to this gen Pokemon.
So they've gotten away from the like it's 150 each time.
Exactly, yeah. So it's like now it's like maybe more so 80. Like there's an
Gotcha.
existing evolution to one that's already been out. Or
Right,
there's a
right.
baby, like a pre-evolution.
Word. Speaking of Black Friday, I know Anthony, you added this story. You want to run through some of these deals that you found notable?
Sure, we have. It looks like the Europe Nintendo Store, the Nintendo eShop in Europe, released these deals or these following deals that I've listed
And so,
early in the week.
And you think these are also going to be on the U.S.
I think
shop?
there's a good chance that if they're not the same ones, at least they'll discount them for sure, like on the shop. Hopefully, maybe in stores too. But the sale includes classic titles. We got Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild, like the new hits, Super Mario Odyssey. Dragon Ball Fighter Z is probably one of the heaviest discount on the European eShop. I think that one went down 70% off. Their Super Mario Odyssey they have is 30% off. Breath of the Wild's 30. Cadence of Hyrule, which is pretty sure that's what you got, right, Tyler?
Yep.
Digital one's 30% off. New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe 30% off. Dragon Quest Builders 2 30% off. I was actually interested in that. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 30% off. FIFA 20 30% off. Dark Souls Remastered is 40% off.
Okay, so that brings it to like $23 maybe.
Wow.
It's $40.
And we have Wolfenstein Youngbloods half off, 50% off. Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate 50% off. Fighter Z I already said 70% off. And Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, which is heavily rumored to be unavailable at the Game Awards. So-
You leaked into the next story a little bit there, which
That's the next. That was the leak. That's what they don't want getting out. That's what the printing company want to avert your eyes. They could be like Resident Evil 3 Nemesis is heavily rumored to be unveiled at the Game Awards. Wiley, can you tell me more about that?
yes, I can.
Thank you.
But I just want to say that while these are good sales, but they're like if it was a PS4 or Xbox sales, like these are mediocre. I mean,
Yeah, very.
Like
Well,
this is a
Especially not for
Switch.
physical.
yeah, it's Switch, and 30% off on now a 2-year-old game is like woo.
Yeah.
But I guess when they keep them at $59.99 like they do, I'm even like, okay, maybe I should finally get Breath of the Wild. I played it on Wii U. Don't worry.
Mm-hmm.
For the
Maybe that's
Switch.
just also for. I mean, that's all digital too, but hopefully that'll be more of an incentive for stores to drop the physical prices
True.
lower.
I've been hearing that I think somewhere's got Zelda and Mario for 30. I forget where.
Ooh, that's a really good deal for Switch.
I
Yeah.
know GameStop dropped some of those the prices on some of those, so you might have to
Mhm.
check out the Black Friday deal for GameStop. I know they have a good amount of Nintendo games on sale.
Are you guys eyeing anything in particular that you're gonna either order or go out and buy on Black Friday?
TVs, power tools.
Are you really thinking about a TV?
Yeah, definitely. 100%. I'm probably going to go to Walmart at like 1 a.m.
Wow.
I was about to
Bring your tools with you so you can help defend yourself.
Well, what kind are you gonna get?
I think they have like a 65-inch smart TV for like $280 or something like
Oh,
that.
okay. So you're not gonna get one with 4K. I mean, with HDR.
It says it has some kind of HDRs. It might not be like the top of the line HDR that some monitors have, but
Okay
not super
then.
good. It'll still be 4K.
Hey,
but-
that's
No, but HDR is even more important than 4K, is what I
yeah.
hear.
Well, guess what? I don't care.
the human eye can only see in up to what, like 3K or something? I don't know, but
Yeah. Well, I think I'm gonna do that transition next year.
I wish my eyes could just be clean. You know the spot you get? I just want to get out of there and be 4K.
That's
Uh,
hilarious.
So moving on to our next story, we had some interesting news, and not quite official yet, but it's looking like we're going to see Resident Evil 3 Nemesis be remade, just like we saw Resident Evil 2, which came out in January. A recent report has suggested that Capcom is currently developing a remake of Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, with the plan to release it sometime in 2020. The report comes from YouTube channel Spawnwave, which has published a video detailing the findings. Naturally, as any rumors should be taken with a pinch of salt, but both Eurogamer and VGC have stated that Spawnwave's report aligns with things that they have heard from sources close to the project's development. While none of these rumors have been confirmed or denied just yet, Capcom itself has said previously that it is willing to continue down the road of remakes, especially if fans show continued interest. And that was before Resident Evil 2 knocked it out of the park with its sales.
I'm surprised they skipped 1 entirely and just went to Resident Evil 2 remake.
They remade one in like
that's right.
2002.
They did. They remade one there was the director's cut, and then there was the one for the GameCube. You were very right.
And then they remastered that on systems. So, well, not quite. It was a complete overhaul, actually. Like, it still had pre-rendered backgrounds and everything and had the tank controls, but it was definitely a much more playable game than the PSX game. So this is neat. I mean, 2, I know it's a lot of people's up on their Game of the Year list pretty high.
Yep.
It's nominated in the Game Awards. It's actually heavily rumored to be unveiled at the Game Awards, which would make sense.
Yeah.
You know how they have those, and now highlighting this game, be like, and next year you're gonna get to play 3. And I never played 3. I was always, as a kid, I thought Nemesis looked real scary
Very spooky.
on the box. He's like way scarier than Mr. X. So
Yeah, very. He was in Marvel Ultimate though. They put him in Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
nice.
Yeah, that's a remake I want to see. I want Capcom to remake Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
2. That's the one people love,
Yep.
right?
But keep it the same style, like Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom. None of this like realistic, like just
Not like the last one.
not Ultimate was so. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
the
so sad.
last one was very bad.
I bought that full price too. Oh my god, I'm
Yeah, I
still
remember
kicking
that.
myself for
Did
that.
I buy full price? I think I bought it on sale.
I'm just glad I didn't get the collector's edition.
I was about to get the collector's edition.
Did you play for the little colored Easter eggs? I was like, oh, I don't want those.
Yeah.
Any interest in this game, guys?
I want to play it.
I'll watch somebody
Sorry
play
if I cut
it.
you off.
No. Hey, when you said that, I'm like, everybody knows how I do with horror games.
I'm a big baby,
maybe
too.
I'll pick it up so you guys can play it.
You'll be down with that.
I gotta play through. I still have to play the first one I got for GameCube like a year ago. I still gotta play the remake, and I have the original for PSX.
The remake of the GameCube one I actually played through earlier. Can't remember if it was this year or last year.
Oh, side note. Resident Evil 2, I don't know if you guys have it or not. The remake
I have it.
is like $20 for Black Friday.
Wow.
That's a good deal.
Yes.
I highly recommend that.
I was thinking about buying it just so it could sit there in my library.
Yeah, you're not going to
Collective
play that.
purposes.
No.
It'd be a good Let's Play. It'd be a good something to play with friends, definitely.
Yeah, you could do the
'Cause
Let's
I'd be
Play.
like,
Anthony.
whoa.
It was a really good game, and it has the the A playthrough, the B playthrough, Leon and Claire. I played through as Leon. I started with Claire, and I just fell off and moved on to other things. But it's in the back of my mind that I'd like to go back and see it all.
Do you know if you get to play as the tofu guy if you beat both?
Yeah,
You do?
that's what I thought. That's what I heard on like a
I
Reddit
think
post.
so.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Say what?
You get to play as this like big stick of tofu.
block of tofu guy.
Mr. Tofu.
Yeah.
Or, like,
When you beat the game, you get to play through it one more time as like a tofu guy or like a mission. It's either a mission or the whole game is this big block of tofu, and you don't have any weapons. You just have the knife.
Is he like a Japanese mascot of tofu?
Nope, he's just a block of tofu.
Yeah, you didn't know about this from the original part 2?
It's crazy.
I did
It's
not.
cool.
Oh wow, yeah, you search it on YouTube. It's amazing. Like you got the tofu and it's just a tofu.
It's a
running
big
around,
square
like-
polygon of white just going
Yeah.
with like little Rayman hands. Like
Yep.
Wow. Do they actually refer to it as tofu?
Yeah.
I think he's got a certain name, but it's like the tofu campaign.
Yeah.
I forget what the name is, but it's great. He's like trying to save his tofu girlfriend. And at the end of one, I think it's like at the end of 2 or something, when you beat it, you beat the tofu's campaign, you see like, I think it was Barry or somebody in the helicopter like cutting up a piece of tofu and like eating it.
Wow, I didn't even know
It's like,
tofu was invented in the late
was
90s.
it Barry or was it Hunk? That was,
Oh, it was Hunk. You're right.
it was
Yeah.
Hunk
It was Hunk.
cutting the tofu,
Yeah,
right?
yep, exactly. Because I remember just like the PS1, like the credit screen of that. So sick.
Alrighty, moving on to our next story. I thought this was a fun one, not kind of a non-story, but you guys heard about this Cybertruck, right?
Yeah, you
Yeah,
texted
yeah.
in the group chat, and I was like, "Are you being like, what is this? Is this like a program, or is this a real truck?"
So it's the new truck that Tesla is putting out. Elon Musk did a big keynote where he showed it off, and
Hey guys, check out my Halo 2 vehicle. Yeah, it's like the Warthog. It's like I don't know. It's not why I have this accent, but I don't know. You can drive it around multiplayer maps. It's pretty cool. Better than the Banshee, but I don't know. I like the Ghost.
the ghosts are good. But anyway, I think the truck actually looks kind of cool. I know I'm a very small minority, it seems to be, with that. I mean, I don't know. I feel like maybe...
It's definitely different and interesting. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not like a typical truck. That's
No.
for sure.
Very blocky. I'm sure you all have seen it by now, but...
And yeah, I've seen a lot of people like PewDiePie and other people doing Photoshop challenges of them photoshopping Master Chief into the windows and throwing a turret on the back of it.
That'd definitely be a good. Hey, maybe it's the end of the world's coming up. It's a great end of the world car if it runs on sun.
Yeah, I don't think it runs on sun.
That's a good campaign slogan. It runs on sun.
Not even solar, it's sun.
Sun. Or Sunny D.
Run on sun.
Run on sun. We would like to play.
That would be a hell of a truck that could run on sun.
Was it run on fuel like
I
regular?
think it's like electric. It's electric.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you plug it in and charge it up, like Death Stranding vehicles. But anyway, so getting to the part where I thought was fun, people have been saying that it looks like it's straight out of a video game, and then he actually tweeted out, Cybertruck is inspired by games like Halo, Warthog,
I knew it.
Warthog IRL, exclamation points. So I just thought that was fun. Maybe he actually did get inspiration from it. I guess he probably did.
I like his
don't know
photo
why.
op though, because he's just sitting there like just a little badass with his truck in the background, and I was like, that's square. It's very square. It's cool though. Hey, good for him. You get the money to do it, making crazy shit. I'm all for it.
I think
It's
that
sick.
I heard his net worth dropped. I saw this headline. I don't know.
Yeah.
how
When he
accurate
was on
it
the
is.
Joe Rogan podcast.
No, that don't,
After this unveiling.
after this unveiling, it dropped like $768 million.
Well, yeah, because didn't they claim that like the windows were unbreakable?
And then it broke, right?
And then it broke.
Yes, that was not a great moment.
Yeah, but you can still fly, and I don't know. I like battlegrounds. It's okay.
Yeah, so he had somebody on stage with like a baseball or some object. He's like, go ahead and throw it. It won't break. And then it broke. And then he's like, you want me to try the other one?
I swear
like-
that one works.
Yeah, and then
That's so
that one
funny.
breaks too.
Oh
Wow,
my
yeah.
god.
And he's like, okay, need some improvement.
It's a prototype.
He's like, it didn't go through. It didn't go through.
Yeah.
That's
And-
funny.
And then I guess there's a video going around of like behind the scenes before they did the unveiling. They like threw the same ball at it and just like bounced off.
Really?
Yeah.
You can only handle one. Its durability is one.
Oh, well, yeah, I felt a little embarrassed for
Oh, that sucks.
man
Yeah.
Elon.
He keep doing his thing, man. He's innovating. He's doing cool shit. He's putting
Yeah.
cars in space.
Mm-hmm.
Make Pokemon real next.
It's planting
Exactly.
trees.
Planting trees.
Yeah, I think people are a little too hard on it, and people with these days picking on Elon.
Everybody wants to hate. He's like, he's doing cool stuff. Why can't I do cool stuff? I'm gonna hate him.
Yeah, true that.
Hey.
So it's a slow news week when we're talking about 8-word tweets from Elon Musk, but that's what we got for you. Anthony's got some tips on if you're a collector like he is.
Hot news. Buy those PlayStation Vitas up. Actually, I was watching a Spawnwave video earlier today, getting some info, and he had mentioned that the price is actually going up for collectors for brand new sealed Vitas in Japan. Because PlayStation's starting to push their streaming services more. I'm certain probably to keep up with the Xbox, the xCloud.
That Project X Cloud.
Project xCloud that's gonna be dropping, but they're like, they actually in the advertisement for like the first time in a while have like shown the Vita. They didn't like focus on the Vita, but they're like, hey, if you have a Vita, you can use it for that. But it's also just going up there for collectors to play. It's a very underrated system in my opinion. I love my Vita. It's great. You like Japanese RPGs? That's your system. So
Yeah, I still want to pick up on Persona 4 Golden on that.
Persona 4 Golden. It's perfect on that.
Yeah, I would consider picking one up just for that
Yeah.
because I've heard that it is pretty.
If you
awesome.
see it now sealed, don't hesitate. Pick it up. If you see it used, still get it because it's a good system.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and coming in hot, we got this new Call of Duty Modern Warfare DLC news.
Who's this goddess?
I'm not sure. Looks like an operator.
But yeah, December 3rd, they're calling this the biggest free content drop in Call of Duty history.
Biggest free drop. I mean, like the only free drop.
Right, I know. They're calling it Season 1, which maybe they'll be starting to introduce like the Battle Pass and stuff like that into it.
Probably.
So yeah, you can buy that if you want, probably.
Most likely.
Here's this cool free stuff.
New multiplayer maps, new quote unquote. I mean, it looks like they have like Crash. Crash is from the original Call of Duty Modern Warfare, right?
Bandicoot?
Crash.
Oh, yeah, Crash Bandicoot. Is he? Oh no, it's a map.
Add Crash to COD.
Another map called Vacant, and
Yeah,
another
you
map called
should.
Shipment. I mean, those were all in past Call of Duty games, I think.
So,
Or
they're
Shipment definitely was there.
They're just optimized old maps, which is, you know what? Like, I think they're fan favorites, so bring them.
Oh yeah, they
for free.
definitely. Like I loved playing on Crash. New Ground War map. I still actually haven't even tried a Ground War game.
I started one. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Ground War. Oh my god, insane! Like you get people on rooftops just sniping you out,
Yeah.
and I actually enjoyed it a lot because it had the Battlefield feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Definitely
like,
does.
And it was pretty enjoyable. Like the maps were pretty big and detailed, and you know the vehicles I didn't hop in any, but they seemed like they were going pretty fine and not too
Yeah.
OP. Because Battlefield, if you're in one of those jets or helicopters or tanks, like you own the map.
Goodbye.
And here it didn't feel like that. Like I easily took out a couple like a tank with like a couple C4s. So I was like, okay, you could disable a tank like pretty easily, you know.
Yeah. New 2v2 gunfight maps, cargo, atrium, and more. They're saying
Can't
that'll be
wait to play
cool.
that more.
So
That's a really cool mode.
I'm gonna need you to get set up, Tyler, so we could stream 2v2s. The level with you 2v2s going,
Yeah, I'm down for that.
Totally rhymes.
right?
Level with you, the 2v2s. New multiplayer modes. There looks like they're listing something called Reinforce, Gunfight,
Looks like Orb.
Gunfight OSP, and Infected. Infected sounds interesting because I imagine that'll be something like a zombie type game mode where one person has a knife only or something, and they got like extra like juggernaut ability and
Like an extra
extra
set of-
speed and stuff like that.
Yeah, like an extra bar of health or things like that.
Yeah, so I think that will be a really fun mode to get into. New special op experiences, Bomb Squad, Grounded, Pitch Black, Just Reward, and more. That's another thing that I think we should probably try and jump into together.
I've been hearing mixed things. That's the cooperative stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually haven't even tried any of those yet.
Me neither.
And they got a
And
couple.
you still haven't
new
even tried the
ones.
campaign yet.
No, I played the campaign.
Oh, okay. Word.
I played like a few hours of the campaign.
Gotcha. Okay,
I
never mind.
played 2 hours of the campaign.
Keep playing. It's really good.
I know.
I haven't
you
played the
mentioned
game.
it.
I haven't played the game.
Like I said, Black Friday right now
that's-
it's on sale.
that's true.
Amazon. And
Black Friday,
Walmart.
Black Ops, Call of Duty.
What is it? What did I say? $40?
Yeah, I think that's what you
I
said.
think you said 38.
$38.99. Thank you, Wiley.
Yep.
You gotta consume for tax. Yeah, there's tax on Black Friday, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So you'll get taxed up to 40.
40. So yeah, just set it high. Get my expectations low.
And yeah, that's all coming on December 3rd.
You forgot about the Ram 7.
The new weapons.
Yeah, new weapons, whatever.
All right. Well, that's cool. December 3rd, free stuff. They're doing the Battle Pass thing. Hopefully it works out for them. I know people seem to be pretty thrilled with this new game overall. So that brings us to the end of the news. You said you had a question for us?
I do, but I can't remember what it was exactly.
Womp, womp, womp.
It's probably a
Have
pretty
to-
good
I
one.
have to look it up.
So another really cool thing that I'm hoping Pokemon decides to introduce is along the lines with like the live services games, like free update. I really hope that they start dropping like, I'm not asking all the Pokemon at once, but like there's been rumors going around of Mewtwo's data is already in the game, or there's like a couple other legendaries that are already in there. So maybe like a limited time event, go to this place in the wild area. Maybe it's a raid. It'll
Yeah.
probably be a raid.
That sounds
Gotcha.
like something they have to do, especially with how Pokemon Go is.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Because
Yeah.
that's all raid focused now for like special legendary Pokemon. And I'm like, I don't go outside.
What was I gonna say?
You should definitely get it.
So it has like an even round number of 400 though.
Yeah,
So
I thought it was a little too good at first too. I'm like,
yeah, but like, so now they're gonna have 403. Isn't that gonna make you a little?
I think they'll probably like cap it. Like, okay, you fill out your decks with this, and then the extra. Like, that's actually a really good question. I don't know how they're gonna do
How are
it.
they gonna keep it that nice?
That's why I gotta get 400 ASAP.
So I
All
think
right.
we have the question queued up.
Yeah, so Caitlin's question is, what are your favorite games that have gotten bad reviews?
Death Stranding.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely next.
No, yeah, that's up there for sure.
Mass Effect Andromeda.
Oh,
Okay.
you like that, huh?
I'm a Mass Effect fan, and I really did. I got through the whole game,
So
and
did
I enjoyed it. There was times that I didn't enjoy the game, but overall, I was like, you know what? I think it got a bad rap, like a fully blown bad rap. I understand where some of the reviews were coming from, but I was like, this is still an enjoyable game, especially because I played it first when it dropped, got a day of. Then I kind of put it down, and I came back after all the updates and fixed some of the bugs and some of that stuff. So I actually got to enjoy a better experience than some people from the launch day. And
Yeah.
you know, I really enjoyed it after all the updating and the fixing that they did
Yeah, so I had a similar experience when I played it. I think I saw it online on sale for a ridiculous price. I got the physical copy for like 11 or 14 bucks or something. Played it maybe 6 months after it came out, and all the stuff had been hashed out as far as the technical issues, so I didn't run into any of that stuff. It's a very pretty game.
Yep.
And I thought it was pretty good as well, to be honest. I mean, it did not hold a candle to 1 through 3. But it was a solid enough game. Like, some of the party members were cool. I really liked the big drag. What was his name?
The Krogan.
Yeah,
Yes.
the Krogan was really good.
Yeah, the Krogans are always awesome in those Mass Effect games.
Yeah.
Actually, funny tidbit. I've been seeing on Reddit that they are in production of Mass Effect 5 right now, and they will be announcing that soon. With
Was
the
Andromeda supposed to be 4?
Well, yeah, it's technically 4 in the continuance. You know, because Andromeda technically
There's
takes.
no way they call it 5 though.
They won't call it 5.
Yeah.
But Andromeda technically takes place, you know, somewhere in between and after 2 and 3, like in that sphere, because it's like they take off from Earth after 2, and they heed Shepard's warnings, and they take off to, you know, another far, far away galaxy, away from the Reapers and all the things that are going on. But I don't know how the light travel or like speed traveling and all that good stuff works. So I don't know if it's years after or if it's kind of like parallel to what's happening in 3. But it's something like that.
That's cool.
What's your answer, Anthony?
Every anime game I've ever played, every video game based on an anime, except for Dragon Ball FighterZ, because that game is tight.
Kill la Kill.
Kill la Kill. Actually, I am having a really fun time with that. I want to go back to that because that got
Yeah, I
drowned.
want to play that.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring that and definitely play. I don't think I've touched it since we played it that night.
No?
Because I played it the next day for a while to go through the story, and it's great. But then I was like, I should probably beat Persona. And that's when I was going through Persona.
Yeah.
But yeah, and Jump Force too. I like Jump Force, so that was a good concept. Definitely needs a lot of work in every department, but I liked it.
Oh my God, guys! I keep interrupting you. Got 7 more days for whatever announcement's gonna be for Persona.
Oh yeah, I know. Can't wait.
The Boil.
It's going to be the release date of the 5, right? Of the
Well, we already have release date of Royal in Japan, so I'm guessing in 7
probably
days we're
gonna
gonna
be-
get the release date for here in America, because they did in that screenshot I sent you specifically say to our, you know, Phantom, like our Thieves in the West announcement in 14 days, and I've been watching the Instagram account every single day, count it down.
Yeah, I
Okay.
can't wait.
Female pro tag coming to Smash.
I'm looking for a game that I played that didn't get good reviews that I really liked, because I've got my list of all the games I've beat the last 4
Yeah, I
years.
can't really think of one either.
And I
All
really
right.
liked this game called The Deadly Tower of Monsters, which was a very low budget, I would say like single A, like sci-fi 50s parody movie or parody game that made fun of all those shitty sci-fi movies from the 50s. It had good platforming, very simple combat, had this really satisfying mechanic where you were either ascending or descending this gigantic tower, and you could jump off of it, and you would do a free fall and land somewhere else, and you'd be falling for like 15 seconds. And I thought that was really neat. So there was one that nobody ever talks about. It came out, I think it might have actually been a PS Plus game at one point. Not sure, but yeah, it's called The Deadly Tower of Monsters, and I think it gotten the 5s and 6 mostly.
Right. Yeah, I'm trying to think of like games I played. I feel like I would have to go through my Steam library to see. I don't know.
The
Gen-
Digimon story game. You played that.
Oh yeah.
And that got
I did
really-
actually really like. I put a lot of hours into that
Yeah,
game.
you did. It's,
Yeah.
it's fun. It's Pokemon
Maybe.
Digimon.
Maybe the last Yu-Gi-Oh game that you played on the Switch, that one doesn't
It
really
reviewed
Did it
get
pretty
get better?
well. No, I think it reviewed well for like what it
well.
was.
When it first originally dropped on Xbox One and PS4, it didn't
Yeah,
really
on Steam.
review well.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't
Yeah.
greatly reviewed. Maybe it picked up better reviews now with all the updates and stuff like that when it dropped on the Switch. But
Yeah, I mean, it was all right. I mean, that game was more of a nostalgia thing for me.
yeah, that wasn't a greatly reviewed game.
True. I'm not going online with that game. Even if you
No.
can play, besides like the drafting.
Yeah.
No, you could. Well, you should be able to, because on the Xbox One version, you could go online and play
sick.
people with your own like setup deck.
Yeah, you can.
Sick.
So you'd get wrecked by people.
Oh yeah,
like,
probably one turn. Just,
pendulum summons and.
I don't even know what half
Yeah.
these cards do.
Yeah.
That's why I'm Pokemon.
All right.
Well, thanks for your question, Caitlin. If you'd like to be on the show, as I stated before, feel free to leave a comment at the comment place, and we'll read it next week.
Tell us what your favorite new Pokemon is. What version did you get? Did you get Pokemon Sword? Did you get Pokemon Shield? Do
you
you
wanna
hate
trade?
Pokemon? Do you want to trade with me? Are you single? Are you hot? All these questions and more you could ask. We're willing.
You guys check on the Discord these days?
Yeah, occasionally. Hopping in. I gotta post more.
Yeah.
I pop in every once in a while, especially
Yeah,
now
we
that I
should
got the
get
PC
that
set up
going
again.
again.
We're
Sorry.
there. You can
We're
come
there.
in.
Yeah, why don't we just have our group text be in there? Well, maybe we'll like keep out the.
I'll go
Dirty
home tonight. I'll
details.
start throwing some stuff on.
Yeah,
Maybe I'll
yeah.
start throwing some more drawings and stuff.
Yeah, cool. All right, thanks for leveling up. We'll see you next time.
All right, bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.